Chevy Trucks, Shooting Sports America. Brought to you by Chevy Trucks, Remington, and Ruger.
Hi, I'm Gresham, shooting editor for Sports Afield magazine. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America. We're here at the Ethan Allen Firing Range at Jericho, Vermont for the 1993 Fall Festival, a unique biathlon race which features the very best biathletes from Russia, Canada, and the United States. It may well be the most demanding and grueling of all international sports. Athletes must go all out, pushing as hard as they can over miles of a cross-country ski course, and then literally reverse gears from full speed ahead to dead stop as they get ready to fire at targets not much larger than a silver dollar set out at 50 meters downrange. Later in the show, I'll be in Tampa, Florida, shooting sporting clays with General Norman Schwarzkopf. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Joining us today is Lyle Nelson, four-time U.S. Olympic biathlete and currently Vice President of the U.S. Biathlon Association. Lyle, it's great to be with you. Describe this event for us.
Thanks, Grits. We're going to watch an exciting biathlon event. The competitors ski 5 loops. After the first loop, they stop to shoot prone targets that are 50 meters downrange and only about the size of a half dollar. They get up and ski another loop on these paved trails to these Vermont hills, very demanding trails, tough uphills, fast downhills. They'll come right back to the range. This time they shoot standing, slightly larger targets. Then they ski another loop, shoot prone again, a 4th loop, shoot at the standing targets. Then they have an all-out sprint on the 5th and final loop to the finish.
Well, this may be like Olympic biathlon, but there is a difference.
There's a difference, and we're standing on it, Grits. There's no snow here today. The competitors use roller skis.
This equipment is really high-tech.
It is high-tech, Grits, and it's the technology that's enabled the skiers to truly replicate the action of skiing here on this dry pavement. You have to use the exact same physical movements. It takes the same amount of exertion. These skiers really go right out to a red line, and they ski just like you had a race engine going full speed all the time.
Wow, these rifles really are specialized for this type of competition.
Yes, they are, Grits. They're very sophisticated and made specifically for biathlon. You'll notice that they carry them on their backs while they ski, and they quickly slip out of the carrying harness when they come into the range. They're carrying their ammunition right with them in a magazine, which they take out and insert into the magazine well, so it's ready to load. But watch how the bolt is not lifted up, but merely comes straight back and forward, so the shooter doesn't have to move hardly at all in position. And that's very important, that you don't move around. You can shoot much quicker. You watch how quick these people shoot, and the rifle, the technology of the rifle, is a big part of that.
Wow, winter biathlon is for skiers, but it's also nice that there's a game for non-skiers.
Yes, it is. Grits, biathlon has become a year-round sport. Today, we'll see the competitors using roller skis. But to most people, summer biathlon is a running and shooting event. And today, there are thousands of people competing in more than 100 races across the United States, most of whom are not shooters. They're trying to shoot for the first time, and they want to try a new, unique running event to add the new challenge, shooting, and they really enjoy it.
Well, I understand we've got some of the top biathletes in the world here.
I think you could say we have the best here, Grits. One of the competitors from Russia has 4 Olympic medals, is a past world champion. He's joined by 2 other Olympians from Russia. We have Olympians from Canada, from the United States. We're going to see a super competition.
Go!
First skier will be Dave Jarecki, 1992 Olympian for the U.S., wearing bib number 1.
Go! Go!
Competitor number 6 is Sergei Chepikov, Olympic medalist from Russia. Competitor number 8 is Wayne Rupertus, Olympian from Canada. Kurt Schreiner, 1992-1988 Olympian from the United States. Eric Wolbrecht, 1992 Olympian from the United States, wearing bib number 18.
As it would turn out, number 13, Ian Harvey, a newcomer to international competition, but a hometown favorite from Jericho, Vermont, was about to have the race of his career. Today's race is 12 miles long, but will take the winners only some 50 minutes to complete. We'll be right back with all the action.
If you want to be very good in biathlon, you have to have good speed in skiing.
It's not too intimidating seeing the Russians and the best Canadians and US here today. I think I belong in this field, and I think this will be a fun race today. Just to race against the best is very exciting.
The United States team invited the Russian athletes here, believing that to become the best in the world, you have to race against and learn from the best. And without a doubt, the Russians are still the best in the world.
This course is really exciting. There are a lot of quick drop-offs, quick turns, a lot of transitions. It's very much a roller coaster course. Very similar to the courses for the Olympics, with a long climb right into the shooting range.
So these must be tremendous athletes.
Oh, it takes so much cardiovascular power. Yet you have to have the muscles and the power of a sprinter. It takes upper body strength because you're pulling yourself all the way along. This is not a group of meek, small athletes. They're powerful, strong arms, shoulders, skating actions in the legs. You know, people think this is one of the most exerting sports in the world.
And they got to have an eye of an Antioch.
That's the unique challenge of biathlon grit. You can walk up here and hit these targets if you just walk up. But once you ski 4 or 8 miles and you're just puffing and puffing and your heart's pounding, you're laying down there trying to hold absolutely motionless, and your heart's just pounding on the ground. It really moves your whole body up and down, and you're trying to hold your breath and line up that rifle. It's so difficult. This is shooting in the most extreme conditions.
Each shooter has his own distinctive routine that he goes through.
That was so important. They each have a routine that you do the exact same thing every time you're into the range.
Mm-hmm.
There may be small individual variances, but within the individual, they always do the same thing.
Just like a golfer going through the same routine every shot he hits. A competition like this really requires two entirely different types of skills.
It does. It's so important, Chris, to make the transition from being an all-out racer, exerting yourself as much as possible while skiing, to come in here and suddenly have the composure and the confidence and to be a shooter and know that you can hit those targets. You have to forget about skiing. You have to bring all your concentration to what you're doing right here on the shooting range. You can't think about who passed you on the ski cliff. You can't think about missing. You have to think about hitting the targets and the procedure that it takes to do that. When you get up and shooting, and the first couple steps you take, you better say to yourself, while I was shooting, I thought 100% about shooting. I was confident, I was composed. Then you can hit the targets.
If you get caught up in the rigmarole of everybody else is doing, you're going to be confused, and you might as well just stand on the sidelines and watch.
At the midpoint in the race, the Russians, as expected, dominated the top 5 places.
Had one penalty, right, Ray?
Yet not true to form, the Russians were missing targets. This opened the door for other competitors to challenge for a medal position. Remember, each miss results in 1 minute being added to a competitor's overall ski time. And while the fastest skiers typically overtake the slower skiers, it's often the slower skiers who are the better shots.
Chris, this is Ian Harvey from the United States, and he has shot perfectly so far. This is his 3rd trip into the shooting range. He has 5 shots prone. He's already hit his first 10 shots. It's crucial, it's so crucial that he concentrates right now and doesn't think about his place in the race, but just thinks about his shooting.
Get every target one at a time.
One at a time, that's what biathlon is. One at a time, 5 times in a row.
There's a penalty for 60 seconds on each miss.
Every miss results in a 1-minute penalty. Ian's got his first 2. That's 3, he's shooting quickly. Got his 4th target. 5 for Ian Harvey. Tremendous shooting.
Alexei Kovalev arrived for his fourth and final shooting stage with what appeared to be an insurmountable lead.
That's how quickly he gets set up. First shot's off. Oops, missed the first one. Second's a hit. Third's a hit. Fourth's a hit.
However, after dropping 2 targets and thus adding 2 penalty minutes to his time, this once again became anyone's race. Sergei Chepakov, former world champion and Olympic medalist, now fully realized the importance of hitting all his targets in rapid succession. And that's exactly what he did. Being the fastest skier on the course, he now had a good chance to ski his way into the winner's circle. The Russians have over 15,000 active biathletes on their competitive circuit, which translates into excellent depth on the international team. One of the newcomers to the Russian team, Pavel Muslimov, had a great overall race, putting him in excellent position for a medal. Because of fatigue, it's always difficult to shoot well in the fourth and final stop at the range. After a great skiing and shooting performance, Ian Harvey, however, had a chance to finish in the top 3 if he was able to hit all 5 targets in his final batch. 3 down. Oh, shooting.
Oh, drop. 19 out of 20. That was the best shooting in the race. 19 out of 20.
With just 1 lap to go, the Russians still dominated the leaderboard. Good shooting and by far the fastest ski time appeared to give Sergei Chepakov the first place finish. He was closely followed by early race leader Alexei Kovalev and teammate Pavel Muslimov. And for Ian Harvey, the finish could not have been more dramatic.
Chris, this is Ian Harvey now, sprinting for the finish line. We don't know if that one miss in his final shooting stage is going to cost him 3rd place or not. He's going for 3rd place, 3rd or 4th, we don't know. There he is. Excellent race for Ian Harvey.
When the official results were posted, Sergei Chepakov was on top with an overall time of 50:35, followed by Kovalev and Muslimov. While Ian Harvey came in 4th, he was not disappointed with his finish.
4th place in a field of such international stars in biathlon is very encouraging. I've trained real well this year, and I'm looking forward to a top result in the Olympics this winter.
For Russian Sergei Chepakov, it was an impressive win against some of the best biathletes in the world.
I'm happy in America today.
Coming up next, Sporting Clays with General Norman Schwarzkopf. Sporting Clays is America's fastest growing shooting sport, and one of the sport's most active and thoughtful supporters is General Norman Schwarzkopf. As Commander-in-Chief of Allied forces in the Gulf War, General Schwarzkopf gained the respect and admiration of an entire nation. A West Point graduate, the general rose through the ranks with varied commands from Alaska to West Berlin and the Middle East, including 2 tours in Vietnam. Family man, soldier, and sportsman, the outdoors has long been an important part of his life. It was an honor to join the general at his home course, Sporting Clays of Tampa.
You know, I started clay target shooting pretty much the way everybody in my generation did. We were wing shooters, but only got to go out, you know, at best maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and missed more birds than we ever hit.
Sure.
So we wanted to do something to improve our shooting, and as a result, you go down to the local trap and skeet range, and I took up skeet shooting, and it was great for a while. But as you know, in skeet shooting, it's the same shot over and over again, and you got these folks that go out there and shoot 100 straight and intimidate you. And then about 5 years ago, I discovered this game of Sporting Clays. And of course, Sporting Clays is much different than skeet.
Yes.
Every range has a different array of targets than the last one you've gone to. And then even here, we change the targets about every 6 weeks. So nobody shoots 100% of all the targets here. As a matter of fact, if you get 70%, you're a darn good shooter. Trapper ready? Pull.
Hey, piece of cake.
Let's see if we can do it again.
You've done this before.
Once. I think one time before I did this. It's fun to come out here. Everybody has a good time, and we kid each other a lot. It's a family sport. You know, we see women that come out and shoot as a group. You see husbands come out with their wives. You see entire families come out here. I've had my wife out here and my son out here. We've shot together. That's because it's fun. I'd say the vast majority of the people that shoot out here are not hunters. They come out here because of the fun that they have from the sport of shooting a shotgun, and they come out here because they can spend 4 hours wandering around in nature and the fresh air, and they're not hunters at all. They're shooters, they're gun owners, but they don't kill anything. They just have fun. Well, you shot the tail feathers off of them anyhow. You know, make a nice mount.
You know, sporting clays is not only fun to shoot for hunters and anybody else, but it's the greatest way I've found to teach youngsters to shoot.
Absolutely, I think so. I mean, they first of all learn, they learn how to conduct themselves properly out in the field. I taught my son to shoot on the skeet range, but I really taught him proper conduct as a hunter in the field on the sporting clays range. The fact that, here we are walking around in the wild. We have our guns with us. Your bolt's open. My shotgun is broken. We keep the barrels pointed down to the ground. We have ammunition, but we don't load our guns until we're ready to fire them. All those basic fundamental things that are so important to the proper way you handle shotguns or rifles, for that matter, anytime you're afield, you can learn right here at the sporting clays range.
Yeah, youngsters not only learn how to shoot, but they learn safety precautions.
Yeah, and not only youngsters, but I'll tell you, a lot of old shooters could learn a lot by coming out here and practicing proper, safe conduct in the field of the sporting clays range.
How true. What do we got here?
Well, this is the toughest shot on the entire course. I was kind of hoping we could avoid this.
All right.
Okay, that's what out there. See if you can do it again. Goes up there pretty fast. You don't think I can do it again?
How'd you get into shooting and hunting?
Well, my dad was superintendent of New Jersey State Police and a championship pistol shooter in his own right. He used to take me out in the field with him when I was a small boy, and he'd go pheasant hunting, and I'd carry my BB rifle along. And we even had a shooting range in our basement. And then later on, when I went overseas with him, we hunted together in Iran and we hunted together in Germany. And naturally, marksmanship was a very big part of being a young officer in the military. And then finally, I was stationed in Alaska for 2 years, which was absolute paradise. And all of that kind of gets inside you, never leaves you.
Even better.
I think it's very important for people like you and me who are responsible gun owners, who can come out here and have a lot of fun with a gun and not necessarily kill anything, who are very safety conscious, who are very conscious about how we secure our guns and keep them locked up and that sort of thing, and who teach our children the proper use of weapons. It's our responsibility, I think, to show the public that we are normal people who are upright citizens and just want to continue to have a good time and enjoy a sport that they've been raised with. That's sort of the bottom line of the whole thing.
We'll be right back with General Schwarzkopf after these messages. Between stations, the General and I had a chance to talk about the responsibilities and the image of today's sportsman. The General couldn't agree more that sportsmen and sportsmen's clubs can play an important role in their communities.
Absolutely. Part of the bad image that hunters and shooters and gun owners have is our own fault. I'm convinced of that. We need to clean up our own act. We need to be the ones that take the slob shooter, the careless shooter, the slob hunter, and we need to be the first ones to blow the whistle on them and straighten them out. But more importantly, shooters do a lot of things that go unrecognized by the community. Let me give you an example. Right here at this club, last year I ran the Schwarzkopf Cup. Schwarzkopf Cup was a shoot that ended up raising $150,000 for the Miami Project for the Cure of Spinal Paralysis. This year we're going to do it again, and we'll probably raise twice as much. We're going to have a woman's classic charity shoot out here this year at this club, all women shooters. The proceeds of that are going to go to a shelter for abused women and abused children. Every club ought to be doing that sort of thing. Every club ought to recognize that it's part of the community and that they can do a lot of great things to serve their community, and at the same time change this image that all of us who own guns are just nothing but a bunch of bloodthirsty killers who go out there and murder things.
The General is especially proud that this course is fully accessible to anyone who likes to shoot.
Yeah, this entire course is 100% suitable for wheelchair shooters. And we have quite a few wheelchair shooters that come out. And you remember I told you about the Schwarzkopf Cup for the Miami project for the cure of paralysis. Well, this year we're going to have a wheelchair team. And it's so easy to do. It really is. It's something that every club ought to think about. It's not that hard to do, and it provides, I think, a real community service when you make your club adaptable to handicap.
Now, what do we have here?
Well, this is a fun station. This is fur and feather. So you're going to get, from the trap over here on the right, you're going to get a rabbit thrown out for you. And also you get a bird thrown out, but to make it a little bit more interesting, we've had you standing on top of a hill right here while you're trying to shoot that rabbit and that bird. So we'll give it a try. Trapper ready? Pull! Dead. Let's see what you can do.
That looks good.
Trapper ready? Up! Powder.
Just like you showed.
Well, you're a great student. Trapper ready? Pull. Okay, I quit. Your turn. I'm out of here. 100%, I quit. You're in there.
Shooting and hunting and the outdoors in general, I think, go far beyond most recreational pursuits. They have family values. They have a meaning for me, and I think for a lot of people, far beyond what we usually associate with recreational sports.
When I hunt, when I fish, I don't have to catch anything, shoot anything. When I shoot out here, I don't have to break all the targets. It's being here. It's being surrounded by the beauty of nature. My son has become my best friend. He's my best friend because every week, for at least 4 hours, we come out here together, we walk around in the beauty of nature, we talk to each other about all sorts of things. Sure, we shoot. That's what brings us together. This is part of our heritage. This is what our forefathers did. They came out, they didn't sit in an air-conditioned room, go to an air-conditioned car, go to an air-conditioned store. They got out here where you breathe the clean air and you touch a little bit of what this great, great country of ours is all about. And that's really the bottom line to me. You know, this is just a large piece of being an American. Whoop. I'll tell you, an old rabbit shooter from Louisiana. Now I know what you put in that crawdad stew down there.
What do you think we live on?
Well done.
You know, it was a real thrill to shoot around the sporting clays with General Schwarzkopf. And believe me, he's the kind of shooter you'd want on your squad any day. Sure, the General is a fine shot, but even more important, he's a sportsman in the best sense of the word. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you'll join us on the next edition of Chevy Truck Shooting Sports America.
Brought to you by Chevy Trucks, Federal, and Winchester.